ACC PM on a Friday afternoon. Again, we go till the top of the hour. Head lacrosse coach at Syracuse for the men is Gary Gait. Legendary coach, player, legend, the whole routine. And, of course, Q's getting ready to jump on Virginia this weekend in Charlottesville. Let's go and see what's going on with Coach Gait. He joins us right there. There's Gary Gait. First of all, Coach, always a pleasure having you on the show. Tell you what, you guys are starting to play some pretty good lacrosse down the stretch late in the regular season.
We're hoping we are. We've managed to get through the last couple of games and played pretty well. We haven't quite put it all together, but we're getting better every week.
It seemed like the win against Princeton, though, could have been a catalyst where all of a sudden things are starting to click.
Yeah, it was a good win. It was our first ranked win of the year, and we'd gotten close a couple times. Our schedule kind of set up where we played some kind of unranked mid-majors, and then we jumped into 4 ranked opponents in a row, and we couldn't get through any of those, but we got pretty close a couple times, and then we got some mid-majors again, built some confidence, and now we've started a run of ranked opponents again, 5 in a row. And we got through Princeton. We've gotten through Carolina. And now we get the opportunity to come down to Virginia and play UVA.
Yeah, one of the quotes, Coach, that I saw you said, you told your team at one point before that Princeton game to start go hunting for upsets. What did you mean when you told them that? What was the message behind that?
That, the nice thing about the way our schedule is, we're not out of it. We have teams in front of us that provide opportunities to earn our way into the NCAA tournament. So that's really what we're hunting for, is that opportunity. Take care of business here in these last couple of games, and maybe our ticket will be pulled and we'll get an opportunity to play postseason.
Well, that opportunity is right in front of you with Virginia. And, of course, the Hoos are one of those teams here in the ACC that's had a sample and a taste of what it's like to be number one. You've seen some great teams that you played for, coached for, all that good stuff. The gauntlet in this league, Gary, just seems like it's never been greater. It's just like almost everybody seems like they've got a number beside their name, and you just know you got your hands full.
Yeah, well, currently I think we got number 1, 2, and 3, from the ACC ranked in the nation, and then followed up by us and Carolina, both in the top 20. So we're definitely the toughest league in the country. I think we have the most depth, and it provides a unique challenge when you're trying to rebuild a program to jump into a league like this and try and get some wins. It's very difficult.
Speaking of rebuilding your program, Coach, we were talking to you during the break because last week we had on one of our favorites, Joey Spelina. He also just has a great name, and I know there's going to be a ton of Spelinas coming in behind him, his brothers as well. But when you bring in a highly touted recruit like that into the program as you try to get back to the top of the mountain, how big of a game changer has having him as a freshman been for you guys?
Oh, it's been tremendous. We are by far the youngest team in the ACC and one of the youngest in the entire country. And we're starting to have some success, and guys, not just Joey Spelina, but we had the number 1 class in the country, 9 Under Armour All-Americans, the most ever awarded to any single team. And, they're starting to get some experience, and that's why we do have a couple ranked wins at this point, but it's taken a good chunk of the season to get that experience and get everybody on the same page, and so that we can make big time plays when we need them.
Coach, the one thing I have noticed, especially on the men's side, and the women too for that matter, but the men in particular, given the fact that we got teams ranked 1, 2, and 3, is, man, everybody can score, right? I mean, it's just been such an offensive explosion. And for folks who've maybe never watched lacrosse, never attended a game, maybe they caught a game on ACC Network, man, I tell you what, offense sells tickets. And this league has so many dynamic playmakers. I know that drives you crazy as a coach sometimes, thinking, oh, man, our defensemen better get a good night's sleep. But holy mackerel, I've never seen the league have so many offensive dudes at one time. It's really amazing to watch.
Well, if you look at recruiting classes, the ACC, you know, sucks up a lot of the top talent every year, every single year. So you got the best offensive players year after year coming to the ACC. So you got lots of number 1, 2, 3, 4 players from each year on ACC teams. So, certainly the most talented league in the country, I believe, in my opinion. And when you have that kind of talent, it's tough to stop. It's tough to stop skilled players. Defense can only do so much, but when you got 6, 7, 8 guys that are, superstars, it's tough for the defense for sure.
Yeah, throw in the COVID year, and now you can't get rid of some of these scores that you've been playing against for what feels like 100 years. Speaking of
Yes.
defense, and it certainly helps when you have a really good goalie back there in the cage. Will Mark, they just released the nominees for the Tewaaraton Award, and he's a finalist at top 25. What's the impact that he's had this season? He's a guy who came to Syracuse this season.
He's had a huge impact. We have pretty much a different team out here this year from last year. And he's a new goalie. We got pretty much all the defense are all different players that played last year, and he's the backbone. He's outstanding. He gives you a chance every game, and that's what we needed to help build our defense, and they've worked extremely hard. I can guarantee you, there's no defense in the country that's worked harder than we have. Coach Petramal is a unbelievable assistant coach, a former head coach from Johns Hopkins, and he wants to be successful. So he's allowing these kids, whenever they want to learn and get better, he provides time for them. And it's been amazing to see what he's been able to do to help grow these young players.
Gary, on a totally separate issue here, I think the last time I had a conversation with you was on the old Packer and Durham show in the morning. And we got into something that you came up with a new concept, right? You had this new invention. And I'm like, well, what are you going to tell me what it is? And you're like, oh, no. And eventually you came around and you told me what it was. So I'm kind of curious, have you come up with some more stuff for lacrosse? Because, I mean, you are a marketing genius, for crying out loud.
Equipment-wise?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sitting here working on some stuff right now. And Gait Lacrosse and my brother, I've been helping him out, and we're working with the NCAA Rules Committee right now to try and get our defensive head back on the market. It was legal for a year, and then the Rules Committee put in a new rule and outlawed the existing one, and have challenged us to make it different. And we have that. We also have a throatless stick coming out, the first throatless stick ever, and that's going to be focused on the face-off position to start, so that you're closer to the ball. So we've definitely been coming up with some ideas, and we're getting ready to really jump out there and help the lacrosse game evolve.
You are amazing. So for all of us novices, a throatless stick. Describe the throatless stick.
Just imagine you had a stick and you just completely cut it off at the ball stop area, and the handle sticks out from there. And that's really it. And we found a way to make it strong and secure and last. And it took us a while. We've been working on it for a couple of years, and we finally got it done. And I think it's going to be a huge innovation. Especially for the face-off, but I think it'll work in other positions as well at times.
I always marvel at people that invent things because it's normally something when you finally see it, you go, son of a gun, I could have come up with that. I mean, it's right there in front of you, right? We're always thinking about this crazy abstract stuff that's got no chance of working, but a throatless stick.
Now,
I mean, how many times have I kicked around a throatless stick idea on this show? Probably hundreds of times. And here you are getting ready to make tons of millions off of it.
The funniest thing is the defensive head was the simplest concept ever, but just nobody had thought about it. Kind of a hook in the middle of the stick. Yeah. Why wouldn't you put a hook there? Is there a rule against it? No, there wasn't. So we made it. but it
That's
was such a simple
incredible.
concept. But all
I
these
love
That's
it.
years, no one thought about it.
I love it. That's why I like talking to you, because I know that every time I see you, you've got something up your sleeve. You're going to go, Pack, here's my next magic trick. And man, it's going to make us a gazillion dollars. And on top of that, not only is it financially a great deal, it's great for the sport. I mean, it's a win-win proposition. Like I said, great player, great coach, but you're a freaking genius. That's what you are. That's what you are,
Well,
Gary Gait.
quick funny story is I just came from the Manufacturers Association meeting with the rules committees and from the NCAA to high school to U.S. lacrosse. And I think that with our women's line of sticks, we've frustrated U.S. lacrosse so much, who makes the decisions on designs, that they said they were putting a hold on approving any sticks for a while because they can't get a handle on what's going on and how they work. And so we've got them confused for sure.
Well, at some
But
point in time, listen, Coach, some point in time, somebody in the NCAA is going to go, hey, I don't care what we do, but we're going to get this Gate fella on retainer because, you know what, he's come up with so many good ideas. Let's just give him a retainer, give him a nice little piece of change, and let him create the whole thing for the sport because you're so far ahead of the game,
No.
it's not even funny.
Well, I'm just lucky that I have this opportunity to coach the sport I love and be involved in it. And believe me, I don't take that for granted. I'm happy to try and create things. I've always, since I was 9, 10 years old and first learned how to string a stick, I've always tried to find ways to make him better. And that's my brother was the same way, the two of us, and it was always good to have two people because you could bounce ideas off. I came up with this idea. Well, I got this one. Well, what happens if we combine them? And that's kind of how we've worked over the years. So,
I love it.
when I was a kid, if I wanted something, my parents always said, "Oh, we really can't afford it, but if you can make it, you can have it." So we made a lot of our things we owned when we were kids, and it's paid off in the long run. Making lacrosse equipment.
That's what brothers are for. Since you're all about developing and seeing things kind of flourish and come to fruition, how about Kayla Trainer and what she's doing on the women's side? I know we've talked about them a ton, and I know they suffered a loss last night, but to see what she's doing over there, especially someone you know so well, what's that been like for you from your vantage point?
Oh, it's been awesome, and she's been a tremendous coach. And I'll be honest, I backed her and recommended her from the day I said I would move over to the men's side. Uh, our athletic director, John Wildhack, asked who I thought would be a good replacement. And the first name that came to mind was Kayla Trainer. There's a young lady that I think I started recruiting her in 8th grade. And in 8th grade, she knew she wanted to be a coach. And I had promised her that she would be a coach and that we would help her get there and live her dreams of being a very successful coach. So when that opportunity came up and she just won a national championship as an assistant at Boston College, it just made sense to bring her in. Even though she was young, she's very mature and just an awesome coach.
Well, you are a legend, my man. I always enjoy our conversations. I know Taylor's over here laughing, and I'll give her some more stories that we've had in the past. If you come up with some great ideas, congratulations on all the success, continued success with this team, and good luck tomorrow. Again, that's a really good team. Lars always has good teams at Virginia. It's a great series.
Oh, he does.
Oh, yeah. And he knows it, and so do you. So get a good night's sleep because there's going to be a lot of goals scored in Charlottesville coming up this weekend.
It's going to be fun. It should be interesting. We're supposed to get about an inch of rain during the game, so it'll make it a little slippery, but a lot of fun.
Gary, always a pleasure, man. Enjoy yourself.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.